Early in the World War II, a groundbreaking fighter emerged with a radical design and bristling with firepower. But for the very nations that built it, this aircraft was deemed a failure. Yet half a world away, it became an absolute legend. So how could one machine be both a reject and a triumph? This is a story of the P-39 Airacobra. By late 1940, it was clear among the U.S. pilots that the P-39 had a crippling altitude problem, primarily linked to its single-stage supercharger. Its power output degraded significantly above approximately 12,000 feet. Its maximum speed, estimated at 370 miles per hour at optimal altitude, would fall sharply at higher elevations. Furthermore, its rate of climb above 15,000 feet deteriorated significantly. U.S. mission planners also required aircraft that could stick with heavy bombers deep into enemy territory, mandating a combat radius of over 400 miles. P-39, with approximately 120 gallons of internal fuel, consistently demonstrated a maximum operational reach of only around 200 miles, compared to more suitable escort fighters with 500-plus mile range. By late 1941, pilots reported another serious handling issue due to the shifting center of gravity. When the 30 rounds of 37mm cannon were expended, the plane's center of gravity shifted rearward significantly. This could make the plane unstable, particularly in a high-G turn or evasive maneuver. The primary armament system of P-39, despite its destructive potential, presented unique integration challenges. The single 37mm cannon's rate of fire was objectively low compared to multi-machine gun configurations. This resulted in a short effective cannon burst duration estimated at just 12 seconds. Furthermore, disparate ballistic trajectories of its mixed-caliber weapons complicated accurate aiming, requiring exceptional pilot skill. But half a world away, on the brutal Eastern Front, the Soviet Union was looking at and using the P-39 very differently. There, most combat on the Eastern Front happened at low to medium altitudes. This was exactly where the P-39's Allison V-1710 engine performed at its best. With most dogfights happening at below 12,000 feet, the P-39 always had its full engine power. Its top speed, recorded at 375 to 390 miles per hour, can be maintained consistently. What's more, its main armament, the powerful 37mm cannon and 250 caliber machine guns, could often deliver a decisive one-shot kill against typical Luftwaffe bombers like Stuka and Heinkel 111. This concentrated firepower was exactly what the Soviet Air Forces needed for their direct, aggressive fighting style. The aircraft also handled beautifully in the hands of Soviet pilots, with its relatively light wing loading and excellent roll rate, making it a formidable dogfighter in the horizontal turns. The 34-foot wingspan allows for quick maneuvers. P-39's strong build, including solid pilot armor, self-sealing fuel tanks, and its engine positioned behind the pilot, dramatically increased survivability and kept the aircraft flying in the brutal conditions of the Eastern Front. On top of that, the excellent cockpit visibility offers near 360 degrees field of view, while the wide tricycle landing gear proved hugely useful. Records clearly showed that the P-39 had far fewer ground looping incidents than typical fighters. This was invaluable when operating from the rough, improvised airfields common in the Eastern Front. Looking at how the P-39 fit Soviet combat doctrine showed a stark contrast, because the P-39 barely fit US and EK strategic plans, scoring at 3 out of 10. But it was a near-perfect match for Soviet tactical combat at 9 out of 10. This meant a 32.5% higher combat sortie effectiveness when the Soviets flew it. Beyond that, Soviet pilots were incredibly adaptable. They often dealt with the P-39 without too many strong opinions, unlike many Western pilots. This allowed them to adapt faster, scoring at an 8 for adaptability versus 5 for US and UK pilots. This flexibility led to a 17.5% higher efficiency rate in combat among Soviet pilots, as they quickly found the best ways to fight using the aircraft's strengths. Another key difference was the Soviet focus on destructive power over volume of fire. The 37mm cannon was highly rated for its hitting power, as it dramatically increased the instant kill probability. In Soviet hands, the P-39 saw a 60% higher kill probability in each fight. Logistical and Megan simplicity was vital in the harsh conditions of the Eastern Front. The P-39's design was easier to maintain in the field, scoring at 7 compared to just 4 for more complex Western aircrafts. This efficiency meant a 12.5% higher operational readiness rate for the aircraft in Soviet service. Lastly, Soviet procurement was driven by a practical need for good enough assets. Facing a threat to their very existence, the P-39 Lend-Lease was an incredibly urgent need. This practical approach allowed the P-39 to contribute to a 17.5% increase in Soviet air strength at one time, filling a crucial gap before more effective Soviet-designed aircrafts were readily available. That's the P-39 Aerocobra's journey, from being underestimated to becoming a frontline workhorse. It powerfully demonstrates that the true measure of a military asset isn't found in its specifications on paper, but in its ability to perfectly align with the harsh, evolving realities of the front line.